right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Claimed. I have a beautiful woman with me today. And so it happens she's also my, how do you call it? But how do you call it when we're from the same land?
Fellow Moldovan? I don't know.
Fellow Moldova, that's right. I think a lot of people don't know, but I was born, they know that I'm not American, obviously. But I was born in a tiny country of Moldova, which is the poorest country in Europe, in fact. And so there was quite a few Moldovans that were considering joining the program, but I think you were the first one who actually did it. And so, actually, there's a fellow Moldovan who is my girlfriend. She's in the program too, but that's a little bit different. So, yeah, my fellow country. There you go, my fellow countrywoman, which is quite special, Anastasia, to have you here with us, and especially, you are here because you are a successful student of the Claimed program. You've had a lot of success with your dating profile, and you become some sort of an internal advisor inside the Claimed group for all the women, for all their dating profiles. So today we're going to talk about your journey in Claimed, but also your, your tips and tricks, and something that you posted in our group that's called Survival Guide for Your Online Dating Profile. 5 steps to survive this online dating journey. Yeah, so welcome, Anastasia. How do you feel?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited, super happy. Feeling really good.
Great. Okay, so let's begin with the beginning, I guess, and your journey before. So what I'm curious about is, how did you find my work initially, and what was your situation back then, if you can remember?
It started actually about 20 years ago, my pre-Claimed story. I remember I was just walking downtown, and I was about 20, and I thought to myself, I really want to know how to be a woman. Like, I want to know what it feels like. What does a woman do? What does she want? What does she not want? Like, how does this work? And around me, there was absolutely zero examples of that type of woman, that woman that we all know, feminine, beautiful inside and out and everything. So 20 years fast forward, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see this post, something about Bumble, saying, I don't remember what it said, but I clicked on it because I was on Bumble and I was like, how dare she say that about Bumble? Like, what's wrong with that or whatever? I can't even remember what it said. So I clicked on it. Next thing I know, I'm talking to Barbara. And then when I saw Barbara, I was completely, like, I don't know what the word, I was just so in love with her energy and her presence. She wasn't in a rush to do anything or go anywhere. She wasn't trying to force feed you something, she was just there, and she was 100% feminine. I was like, that's the woman. That's the woman. That is the woman I've been looking for 20 years. That's the woman. That's it. And I just knew it in my body. It wasn't like an intellectual thing at all. It was a full-on body, like almost like a psychic experience. And that was it,
So for women listening, Barbara is basically my right-hand woman who does all of my discovery calls. She's been a client in the program, has seen a lot of success, and has been, a part of my team for almost 2 years. I think has enrolled more than, by now, 300 women into the program, which, Anastasia, you're one of them. Wow, amazing. Okay, so that's the short story in terms of like 20 years
short story,
backwards.
very short,
and now
20
here.
years, yeah.
So can you tell me more about where were you? Like, what was your situation? What was your challenge, I guess, with men and dating and whatnot before you signed up on the call and obviously joined the program?
So I just, right before I joined the call, I was dating, mostly online, but doing both. I was attracting people who are not really, real candidates, but also I still didn't know how to be a woman. So what I told Barbara on the call, what if one day, metaphorically speaking, I'm flying a plane, right? I don't know how to fly a plane. I'm going to crash it. So my biggest fear is to meet an amazing masculine man and have no idea what to do, like what to say, what to feel, any of that. So I knew that this program would be something that will teach me, basically how to feel how to be a woman, how to use your body in everyday life, in everything. So that was my goal with Claimed, is to learn how to be that. And Claimed did exactly that. So yeah, pre-Claimed, I was dating, basically, but not very successfully, really. I didn't know sometimes how to respond, how to set boundaries, I didn't know, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do, So it's just kind of blindly guessing, which doesn't really work. Everybody knows that.
So for you, I see that everything kind of leads to, I didn't know how to be a woman. Now,
Yes.
Why is that important? Why is that important for you to know how to be a woman? And because I think, when you say that, a lot of the listeners or those who are, I guess, watching this might be thinking, what do you mean? Well, you don't know how to be a woman. Like, you are a woman, right? Oh my God. Now that we're talking about this, I'm like thinking about all of the movies. I don't know if you've seen What is a Woman and all of the gender, but we're not talking about that. So, but it's interesting that we are talking about that in the context of the program. But anyways, so explain that a little bit more. What do you mean? Why was it important for you to know how to be a woman? And I think you hinted a little bit like, when I meet my masculine man, I would know how to talk to him. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what was the issue and why was it so important for you to learn that?
Yeah, so a couple of reasons. First of all, intuitively, I just always I always felt like women around me were not feminine. They were not feminine. That all they did is basically behave as the men did. They worked the same jobs, they did the same things, and they were not happy. So I knew somehow intuitively that, being in that masculine energy is not going to get you very far. It's not going to make you happy. So the second part to it is that intuitively, I just knew that I was feeling so unfulfilled with my life, and I knew that femininity would be like a medicine that I would bring into my life in all the areas, in my work, in my dating, in my social life with friends, with men, with everything. So I knew that was the secret ingredient that I was missing. And I'm also very observant. I observe women and I see how certain women, are with certain men, right? Like certain women are with very feminine women are with very masculine men, and vice versa. So I was observing that and I was like, how do they get there? Who taught them? In many cases, it's their mother because she was very feminine. In my case, it was you. So you kind of played that role, that mother role for me, which I never had. Not that I absolutely love my mom, but the rite of passage, nobody ever did that for me, ever. Nobody knew, not because they didn't want to, they simply didn't know. And I was always looking for that intuitively, again, using my body to navigate through life, which thank God brought me here.
Yeah. And how did that, I guess, so you're saying that, women around me were not feminine, not happy, and I intuitively could feel that. And then you were unfulfilled with your own life. And I love what you said, femininity will be my medicine or the key ingredient. I think a lot of women intuitively know what you're talking about and then feel that in their own lives. And this is why they're being pulled to do this work. Because, the program is about you, but the program is about men. The promise of the Claim program is that you start to attract better quality men, so on and so forth, by getting to know yourself. And then my whole, how I attract women into the program. That Bumble app, by the way, said, I appreciate men. I appreciate men who take the lead or take charge. If I didn't, I would still be on Bumble. Something like that.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
So that was a good one. That works.
Yeah. So I think it was actually Barbara who initially mentioned that, and then we just took that and ran ads on Instagram around that. So, but I'm curious. So from that perspective, right? What were you seeing? Like, what was the reality for you with men? And it's important for us to talk about now because I think that the listeners will resonate with that. And we'll also talk about what is your reality now so we can contrast the two. So if you look at how were you dating before? What kind of men were you attracting? And what was the result in your, dating dynamics, because you were not connected to your femininity or to yourself as a woman, didn't know how to, I guess, feel and behave and so on and so forth. What was the result in your dating dynamics with men back then?
So there's a big difference, right? So before claimed, I would attract men who were basically unavailable in many senses, emotionally, financially, just all around, unavailable for me. And also I wasn't attracting as many. So basically the quantity as well as quality was lacking. I was meeting people, but it was very, seldom, I would say. And after claimed, it kind of exploded. It exploded. Like, I was like, wow, okay. And it's interesting because I felt the difference the day that I joined. And then I was reflecting on it. I'm like, how can it be? It doesn't make any sense. But it's like when you take that turn to your femininity, you still don't know how to walk that path, right? But you already turned the right way. The universe is going to signal, hey, yeah, I'm right here. Yes, finally. Yeah, it's been 40 years, but it's okay. Come on, keep going, So even if you make that step, you haven't even gone through the program, but you make that step, the universe like, yes, let's go. Okay, let's go together. It's going to be fine, So, post-claim, I would say I'm attracting more and quality is gone up significantly. I mean, dang, I've been going out with, businessmen, lawyers, and I don't know, but it never happened before. I've never, ever been on a date with somebody of that kind of success, ever. So that just, I don't know, it's completely, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to get used to that. Okay, calm down, relax, breathe. Yeah. It's okay. You're going to get used to it. It's okay. So at first it was like, what do we do, But there's nothing to do. It's just to feel and see what happens, that's the feminine way. There's nothing to do. It's just receive, enjoy. That's it.
We feel the same way because of our common upbringing and where we were raised. Because again, we both come from. I'm pretty sure even now it is the poorest country in Europe, and so I was probably like you. I was never exposed to men of high status, men of financial access to resources and things like that. I still remember, and you and me, like kids in America, when I was a high school exchange student in the US, at 15 they like get their own car and get their learner's permit, and you live in a first world country. Everything is available. Like you go shopping. I remember I was like a mad when I went to the US at 17. I went to like Walmart or, Target, and my mind was blown away. My reality was totally shifted upside down. I'm sure probably you've experienced that too the first time you came to the US. And, but in terms of men, I think it was until I was like 20, when I broke up with my feminine boyfriend, as I call him, beautiful man, just the energy wasn't right. And I attracted this amazing man. Like I prayed to the universe. I still remember every single day in the morning as I went to work, I was listening to this song, Bonnie Tyler, Holding Out for a Hero. Anyways.
Oh, yes, I know that song. Yeah.
So it was like, he comes from the rain and from the dark and from the war. And he's like I don't know, it's like super cool. And my editor should play this song now as we're talking about this. And I was in my feminine, I was attracting, magnetizing. Back then I didn't know what embodiment was, by the way, but I was doing it already. And then I attracted him. I was on Tinder date and I attracted this guy who is literally like, you want a masculine man? He was in the military. Like I'm talking about, he's been in Afghanistan and Iraq and everything, and like talk about masculine energy. And so he was the first guy who like showed up in a car and picked me up and took me to this amazing restaurant, paid for everything, and like took me to a hotel, many different hotels. We traveled to islands with him, and I was like, wow. And with street, this was already my upgrade. And then the men were just getting better and better and better. And so I really resonate with what you're saying. It's like when you start to attract this different caliber of men, it's like, oh my God, can I be here? Am I worthy? Do I belong? All of these things are going through your head. And you're right. It's just a matter of breathing, receiving, getting used to it. Because
getting used to it. That's right.
Yeah, because I always say, men don't give a damn about your paycheck. Yeah, then you're normal. And then it goes up and up and up. Yeah, so you're saying that, before claimed the men were unavailable in many different ways, and the quality and the quantity just wasn't there. And so here you are on a call with Barbara, who exudes this femininity, and you're like, oh my God, I found the woman. And so you're signing up for claimed. And so I'm curious, Anastasia, what were those kind of 2-3 aha moments for you that happened in the program that totally, I guess, shifted or transformed you or helped you really step into that feminine woman that you always were, but just didn't have the tools or the resources to fully step into her?
Yes. So there were so many aha moments. It's literally countless, but I'm going to point out the biggest ones. One of the first that I want to mention is the cycle awareness. I started doing the cycle awareness that you're mentioning in the program, and it completely, oh my God, it changed my health so much. I've been struggling, women will understand this, I've been struggling with endometriosis, a lot of pain and everything. Arguing with my own mind, I'm like, well, how does cycle awareness even work? It's just being aware of your body. I mean, what is that going to do? It's not going to do anything. So I was like, oh, come on. But then I'm like, you know what? Anna knows what she's talking about. Let me just follow through on that and just see what happens. So I started journaling, started doing it, and oh my gosh, like my cycle, my period improved so much. It's just unbelievable. So the health benefits for me personally were just, I don't know, I don't even have the words. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Listening to your body, doing what your body is asking you to do. It's been a game changer, I would say. So that was the first one. Then the second one, I think the flows has been the biggest shift probably in the way I am, because when you do flow, something just changes in you that you can't really intellectually describe. You just feel something that I would describe, if I could put it in words, something like a sweet dancing sensation in your body. And sometimes you're able to hold on to it for maybe a couple hours or the whole day. And when you walk in that energy, it doesn't even matter what happens. You just enjoy yourself so much, you just feel it, walk in it, and I don't know, you just feel happy. So that was kind of my biggest goals, is to be happier, really, And of course, seeing the results and attracting different types of men, different caliber of men, was also the biggest aha. I was like, oh, I never doubted that it works, but when you see the results, you're like, oh wow, now I can really choose somebody I'm really interested in. You know what I mean? I don't have to choose among people who are just there available for you. You want to choose somebody who you really want to choose. You know what I mean? Like, it's finally when you, I don't know, get a salary upgrade. It's like, well, I actually wanted a Mercedes. I never wanted a Honda. You know what I mean? And you can finally afford that Mercedes. You know what I mean? That's the feeling. So yeah. But there were millions of aha moments, so it's just a few of them.
Yeah, let's talk about these different types of men. So first, my first question to Anastasia, why do you think that happened? And I guess it circles back to the beginning where I asked you, why is it important to be connected to you as a woman and to know what femininity is? And what was the before claim situation? How did that result in the men, the quality and the quantity of men you were attracting? And so as you went through the program, through all of these aha moments and milestones, the tools that I teach and the modules, what do you think happened internally for you? And how do you explain the fact that you started to attract different types of men, different quality of men, higher caliber of men, and also, as you said, quantity? And I love that metaphor that you said with a Mercedes. That's right, because when we're operating from our status quo, like most women, you do attract what you attract. And you're like, well, the men are kind of shit, but I'll just choose the best from the worst, you know? That's how I was,
Yeah.
because my world
Yeah.
was like divided between
Yeah.
feminine men, the nice guy who I'm not attracted to, like, don't really respect, not attracted to, and the guy who I was attracted to, but I called them like, you know, well, I called them assholes, but I learned to call them undeveloped men, right? Or like, you know, so we have some respect. Obviously, we learn to respect the masculine journey. And so I love that you said, you know, when you do this work in the transformation, the caliber of men is changing, and it is indeed an upgrade. And you're like, oh, well, I just thought that there were just Hondas around, and now, holy shit, they're like, I can actually afford a Mercedes. So, what do you think changed inside, and what has contributed to this shift and to this result of attracting better quality, but also quantity of men?
Everything shifted, really. The life that I was living was up here in my head. So from my head, it dropped down to my heart, abdominal area, and to my uterus. So actually, that's why I stopped having so many headaches. I used to have so many headaches. It's because everything was going on here, you know, in your head, and it was just exploding. So everything dropped down, and then I found myself experiencing pleasure. And a lot of people would say, well, pleasure, it's immediately associated with something sexual. No, I started experiencing pleasure on my own from doing flows, from being in touch with myself, from feeling the feelings, and asking myself, what do I really want? Not what I can afford, what do I really want? And not being afraid of wanting it, you know what I mean? Just like that metaphor with Hondas and Mercedes, if you were always able to attract only Hondas, let's say, then you don't know what Mercedes looks like. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know anything. You just heard that it's somewhere over there on a deserted island, but you know it exists. You deep down, you know it exists. You just never seen it, and you never experienced it, right? And also, thanks for the program and the books that you reference. I read 3 books: The Way of the Superior Man, Queen's Code, and Running with Women Who Run with Wolves. It opened up just a door, I would say, in my body that allows so much love and empathy for men. I was never actually like a man hater or anything. I never experienced that, thank goodness. Men were also kind of like an enigma for me. I didn't know, you know, it's just, I didn't know what to think or do or say, you know, nobody taught me. Good. So I think opening that door and just admiring them and learning how they are and what they want, especially thanks to the Queen's Code, it really goes down and explains, you know, all those moments. How do men really feel like? What do they want? What do they not want? You know? So I think turning around and welcoming them also really helped and softened my energy, I would say. But the biggest thing I would say is experiencing pleasure in your body on your own with the help of flow and the music and all the instructions that you provide. But the main thing, it made the biggest difference for me. So dating for me is a side effect. And it was never my goal, real goal to attract. It was just never in my head. What I always wanted to do is just be more feminine and happier, which I achieved 100%. As soon as I finished the program, like, that's it. It's done. Although it's just the, you know, I mean, there's deeper
layers.
You can go deeper. Yes. I mean, deeper and deeper. You can go as deep as you can, and you can take it as deep as you want to. So that's the beauty of this program.
I love what you're saying. 2 things I want to comment on is that's exactly what happened for me. And not only it happened in my romantic life, but also in life in general. You know, I mean, and because we're country women, fellow country women, we grew up in a society where, I mean, I don't know about you, Anastasia, but I'm assuming it's kind of the same mentality where, you know, people who have money, they have this money, or people who are rich, let's say, or whatever, have this like lifestyle where you can buy a silk shirt just on a whim, you know, or whatever. Those kind of people, I grew up with the mentality and the belief system that those kind of people have that money because they cheated, because they stole. Like, there is indecency or there is some scam happening. I know that my dad still believed it until, he passed away, 67 or so. And so that idea of a certain lifestyle or, by, you know what I mean? Like that upscale kind of, I don't know if the upscale is the right word, but upper class lifestyle where you can buy whatever you want, where your kids can just have all the toys that they want, like where you can dress, like you can go on whatever, that I knew that existed, but it wasn't available. It was something for people not like me. The same thing with men, as you talk about, the Mercedes kind of a guy was just not for me. The guy who has the money, who has the resources, who dresses well, who stands strong in his healthy masculine energy, who's a family guy, like all of these qualities that all women want. That guy, I knew he existed, as you said, but somewhere very far away, not for women like me. So I went through exactly the same journey. And when I did the work that I did on myself, which is what I now teach women together with feminine embodiment coaching, it's like that perfect combination that all of the keys unlock. Look, I love what you said. You said, I started to ask myself, what do I really want? And most importantly, not being afraid of wanting it. Allowing yourself to step into that possibility of what you want and saying, not only I want it, I'm not afraid of wanting it, but I'm also in your whole body, because we do a lot of embodiment around it, right around beliefs. I'm worthy of going on a date with a lawyer who's, like a lawyer, like, what are you talking about? But in our minds, a lawyer or whatever, a banker or whatever, like a guy who has the, like a lot of the women in the presence of strong, healthy masculine men, because of our belief systems and past patterns and whatever, we just become little girls. There's a lot of fear around, like what you said. I would know, like, even if I was presented, that's the thing. A lot of women are like, I just want that guy. Where is he? Well, if he appears in front of, that's how I was, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself, because you would be like, your hands would be shaky. You wouldn't know what to say. Like, he doesn't want a woman like that. Yeah. Or you'll faint. Yeah, exactly. Right? Because same thing with wealth or whatever, we want what we want, but like, what the hell are you going to do with $1 million when it's going to be presented? You would have no idea. And even if you win the lottery, guess what? You probably lose all of it. Or even if you get a glimpse or a presence of this masculine man, let's say it's I don't know, your rich uncle from a distant relative invited you to a party at a mansion. All these chicks who want a rich husband and have nothing to show for themselves, or like, you'll show up. Yeah, you might meet him for sure, but it's not going to go anywhere, because that kind of a man, we do this exercise. We do this exercise about magnetizing your committed masculine men, where I ask all of you, we do this workshop where, we brainstorm about what kind of men what you want, and then we ask the question, what kind of a woman he's interested in? What kind of a woman he's going to be around? Not the woman who's like, oh my God, I'm just going to faint and I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. He's going to feel, he wants a partner. So I love what you're saying. And also the other, because it's absolutely true. And I love that you said dating is a side effect. It is indeed not about the men. And when you know yourself and you're feminine, when you step into all of that, your dating just automatically upgrades, because you're not living in your head, and you're not thinking about, what do I say? Your whole behavior and your whole body disposition completely changes. So let's talk about this side effect, because that's what I also wanted to invite you on the podcast, not only to talk about your transformation, but also your dating, because indeed the quality, as you said, and the quantity of men completely changed. And so you wrote this article, this post about your dating profile, and so we're now getting into your dating profile that seems to be very successful for you, because you really were able to kind of unlock that feminine vibe and everything. So we're going to be showing on the screen now your pictures and your dating profile and what it is, and it's quite simple. I think, when I look at your profile and your photos, it's nothing complicated. I think women are too much in their head about it. So, well, actually, my first question is, how was your profile before? Because I'm assuming what we see right now in your profile and your pictures is obviously the result of your work that you've done in Claim. So what was your profile before, and how did you actually come up with all of these photos and things that are quite successful in terms of the men that you're attracting?
So pre-Claim, my profile was pretty simple. I didn't have any pictures of me that having that, lovely vibe and just like that exudes that happiness, that juiciness. I didn't have any of that because obviously I had no idea about that. But how did I do that? Basically, it happened organically and naturally, and actually my body told me that. So the story is, when I joined Claimed, I think a few weeks after that, I felt a strong desire to do a photo shoot in my body, and I was like, what is that about? Like, I don't want to do a photo shoot. I don't have the money for a photographer, but the desire kept coming back to me. And I'm a very intuitive person. I'm like, okay, well, it keeps coming back to me. It wants something to be done with this, So I'm like, okay. And I started researching and photographers and see, like how much it is to do a photo shoot and everything. And whatever they were saying, I was like, oh, I simply don't have the money. So I just kind of let it be, because I'm like, no. And then one day, me and one of my best friends were driving to the beach to St. Petersburg, Florida. We booked a hotel and everything, and I just grabbed like 4 outfits with me. And we're driving in the car, and I said, "Listen, would you like take pictures of me in different outfits on the beach?" And she's like, "Oh, absolutely." She's the kind of girl, if you say, let's rob a bank, she's like, yeah, sure, we'll do it, no problem. So she's just one of those people. She's like, sweetheart. So we went to the beach, and I said, I kind of feel a little like tense or something. I'm like, let me have a drink. So I had one drink. I don't even drink, but I don't know. For some reason, I had a drink. I don't know. We literally had the best time on the beach. We're laughing hysterically because me and her, we just, I don't know. It's like 2 clowns come together. We just were laughing the whole time. Men were passing by, and they were like, you guys are having the best time. I was already attracting on the beach. I was like, oh my God. So they were dropping comments and like, blah, blah, blah. So I literally felt the best. I was in the presence of my best friend. So the energy was outstanding. It was the sunset. So you have to watch out for the lighting. Lighting is the best, especially if you're not 25 anymore. You know what I mean? So we took about 500 pictures in 4 different outfits with the sunset. And the goal was not, to do this for dating profile or anything at all. It's just my body was literally telling me to do this, and I just followed through. It didn't make any sense, and that's how the body works. Whatever body is telling you, it's not always logical. It doesn't make sense at that moment, but give it a few weeks, a few months, and you will understand why your body is telling you certain things. Then I was sorting through the pictures, and I picked the pictures that had the best vibe and had the best kind of like that juiciness that I felt, that happiness that I felt, and I posted them in my profile, and they were genuine. They're absolutely genuine. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. When you do your online profile, I realized men are so sensitive. They are so sensitive to the realness of you. So if the pictures are great, but you're not really happy, you're just smiling, you know what I mean? Like, they're so sensitive, and they know everything. They know where the truth is. They know. You cannot fool anybody. And I don't recommend fooling anybody, lying to anybody. Your energy is what makes you beautiful. That's 100%. You can put the best dress. You can put the best jewelry. It doesn't mean anything. It's your vibe, it's your happiness, it's your flirtiness, it's your body telling you certain things, that's what attracts higher quality men. Because you were asking me how come you were able to attract better. That's that quality that is located somewhere in your belly area. Is that quality that attracts that type of man, and also makes you happy. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, and you can truly see this in the photos. And as I said, everyone who's watching, and if you're not watching, listening, you should definitely go and watch this, because it was showing photos of Anastasia and that genuineness. And I love that you said that, men are so sensitive to the realness of you. and your energy is what makes you beautiful. So now let's go to this survival guide for your online dating profile. I'm not sure, why is it a survival guide? Why is it a survival guide and not just like 5 steps to an amazing dating profile? Why'd you call it a survival guide?
Well, to be honest, when I used to work in management, I used to create like little survival guides for my nurses, like a quick little guide to survive the day, you know. Then I just love that name, and I just like, oh, let me just put it here, because it's like basically when somebody's drowning, you want to throw them a, you know, that thing, a circle, and you take them out of the water. So I don't know, it's funny, it's cute. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love
beautiful. So let's talk about that. So there's 5 different steps that you've outlined here. Let's talk through them one by one. The first one, here's what you wrote. Number 1 is explore your own beauty. Find your best feature. The idea is really to fall in love with yourself slowly, step by step, feature by feature. Market yourself in the best possible way and be that. For example, if you're wearing a sexy dress, you have to be that, feel that, and be comfortable and secure in your sexiness. If not, it would look like you're trying to be someone you're not. Change your wardrobe if necessary. All clothes should serve your beauty, not the other way around. And most importantly, find your inner diamond, your juice, your uniqueness, and bring it out for the world to see. So before you comment on that, Anastasia, I just wanted to say that what you said, I think one of the most important things here, well, all of this whole paragraph is totally spot on and beautiful, but market yourself in the best possible way and be that. What I've, because my journey with coaching and everything, I'm a coach by nature. I'm not a dating profile guru. I'm not, I struggle a lot with calling myself a dating coach, simply because what I see in the dating coaching world is like tips and tricks for your dating profile or what to say. And I was like, oh, no. All of that, like I knew, and I know we had this conversation with you, that all of that is useless unless you do your own internal work first. And once you have that foundation, then it's almost like, here's the thing. I mean, you did all of this work. Like, I didn't need to tell you. In fact, all of these, I don't, in the program right now, there's nothing about how to write your date profile. What there will be, because I guess I'm up-leveling my skills in terms of that, because I understand that women need that, and that would make them be even more. I mean, the program is already amazing and there's so much success, but this will take it to the next level, right? And so what I always tell women now in the workshops, and I love that you said, is that your dating profile is your business card. It's how you market yourself. And so, what a great marketer does, it takes a product and it looks at the best features of the product and it highlights the benefits of the product. It's not talking about, I've got extra 10 pounds, but it's okay. I still love myself, like women don't do that, but this is an extreme example, So you have to market yourself in the best possible way. And that's how men work. That's how men's profile, men look in the mirror and they have a tummy and they suck it in. They're like, oh yeah, I still got it. Here's my abs. Like, it's all good. I'm going on a date. I'm a Superman. When women look into the mirror, they actually distort things 40% into the negative. So it is this whole thing that we're doing in the program, that we're rebuilding and reframing that belief system about yourself. And when you love yourself, as you said, you know how to market, you know your best feature, and it's genuine, then you put that out there. So any other comments here in terms of like, how can women find their best feature, right? And fall in love with themselves? I mean, obviously, sign up for the CLAIM program. That's what we teach you here. But any other tips in terms of, finding that inner diamond and the juice and the uniqueness and bring it out to the world to see? I already know the recipe, so have a drink, take 500 pictures, make sure there's good lighting. Anything else you want to mention here?
Yes, this is actually a deep subject, and we can go as deep as we can. But I want to comment on the diamond part of it. So this metaphor that I use about diamonds really will help women understand marketing part of it, because a lot of women can say and argue and basically state that, well, I'm already beautiful, or I'm already this and that, and I don't need to, trying to sell myself or anything. Well, okay, let's take the diamond in the rough, right? The diamond is found somewhere in the mountains, in the mines or whatever. When you take a rough diamond, it's still a diamond, right? But it's gray, it's rough, it's not very attractive? Not really. I mean, you wouldn't know if it's a diamond or a rock. You had no idea, right? But once you polish it, once you shape it, once you put it in the right frame, has to be the right frame, then everybody's crazy about it, right? Everybody's like, oh my God. And this is how women are. We're already diamonds. So there's no need to, look for that value. We already have it. Our job is to shape it, put it in the right frame, put it in the right place, carry yourself as a diamond, feel as a diamond, So it's just, this metaphor kind of helps you see why it's so important to market yourself and not get stuck into this, well, why am I doing this? Why am I selling myself? Well, yes, because you want to attract the most beautiful frame, right? The most beautiful frame. So I would say exploring your own beauty it's a little bit at a time. I struggled a lot with my body image. I just always thought of, I don't know, Jennifer Lopez or Naomi Campbell being the standard of beauty. I mean, for me, always Naomi Campbell was the standard. So for me personally, if I'm pale and I'm don't have curves, then I'm not beautiful. Who taught me that? I have no idea. But it was always in my head. But little by little, I started, okay, what do I like? What do I like about my face? Okay, my eyes are green, so that's like, wow, okay, good. So I started little by little. What if I color my hair red? Oh my God, I love it. What if I, start going to the gym and gain a little bit of muscle, for example, Oh, I love that. So it's a step-by-step process, and it's not overnight. It's really a gradual process falling in love with yourself. It's an enormous kind of well that you can dive in, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
The fact that you brought up these models and everything, and I mean, I'm a little, what's happening today in terms of beauty standards and everything. I think for the most part it is amazing because we're finally seeing different body shapes, and different sizes and things like that, And I've just finished my personal styling certification. It was really interesting how, when we look at body shapes and everything, how one size, size 10, for example, can fit on many different. So bodies are all different. And when we're presented, and for the longest time, me the same, we think of Naomi Campbell and Jennifer, like all of these supermodels, whatever, right? And that is a standard of beauty where every woman tries to fit in. So it's almost like, here's the diamond that's called Naomi Campbell, and then every single diamond that's out there is trying to be molded into the same shape and form and things like that, which is quite destructive for women's self-worth and things like that, because that's just not the reality of things, Anyways, I have some issues with the whole, just small issues with the whole, body positivity movement. But I think for the most part, it did some amazing things because most of us, I mean, including me, I never had weight issues, but I have other problems like my skin concerns and things like that. And so every woman, it's so interesting when I realized that every single woman, even if you ask Naomi Campbell, I'm pretty sure she's going to tell you what she doesn't love about her body, right? And you're like, what are you talking about?
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because this journey is all about finding the diamond in the rough. Because at every single woman, I've seen this happen in this transformation climbed. No matter what her size is, no matter what her shape is, it's all about how you feel about yourself and finding those feet. Like, as a stylist, I've been trained to pay attention to the attributes. I might have a woman who's a plus size woman looking at herself in the mirror and she's going to tell me all the things that she hates. My job as a stylist and your job as a woman eventually, and it's a slow process, is to find the attributes and pay attention to the attributes, because every single one of us has those flaws and things that we don't like about ourselves. Well, I just stopped paying attention to those, and I started paying attention to my beautiful green eyes and the color of my hair and what I love about myself, and then making that and marketing yourself in that way on a dating profile, which leads me to the second point. You say, market yourself. Find a place where you enjoy like life the most, whether it's beach, nature, forest, city, and ask a friend to take as many photos of you as you can in your favorite outfits. flow before. So flow means our feminine flow practice, the embodiment practice that I teach all women in the program. Listen to music, have a drink, or do whatever to feel that juiciness of living and take photos in a particular state. Minimal but tasteful makeup. Some women don't even need any makeup. Makeup is just like clothing. It is there to highlight your unique beauty. So that is what you suggest, right? To get into that state of being the juiciest, the most in love with yourself, and then go out there and let someone else take pictures of you, as many pictures as possible, so you can exude that energy of, I love that you said pleasure or whatever state, because I love that you said that you can't fool anyone, because it literally translates through the photos. Anything to add to that?
Just want to say again, high quality men, you will never fool them. Just like a highly conscious woman will always know who the real man is, the same way real men always know who is a genuinely feminine woman. So you have to feel that, and the photos will capture that juiciness. It will. If you feel it, it will capture. You know how those psychics work on pictures? Just they do stuff on pictures, not even without seeing a person, because the photo captures your energy, it captures your mood, it captures everything. So don't try to lie, don't try to fake it. Just you have to feel it. There's no other way. It's not an easy process. You just have to do it, and the results will amaze you. So that's what I would add.
And it's so much easier done if you've done the inner work, right? So like if you go, if you're a woman who I'm going to do that. I mean, you can, and you might be lucky, but then, you and I, Anastasia, we know you've done the work through the program. So if you do the inner work first, and that's why when I work with women, the first 3 modules or the first 6 weeks, which is more than half of the program, is not even about the men. It's about you. So when you do that work and you just apply those tips and tricks on top, you go out there, take 500 pictures, have a drink, make sure like everything else, it's just easy and flawless. But if you don't do that work, then you might capture that somewhere, and you might be lucky with 1 or 2 photos. But then once you meet a guy, it's like a house of cards, right? Because it will all just fall. It's not going to be real. And
let's
talk about the pictures now. This is your 5th step. Actually, we'll come back to the 4th one. You say that pictures or photos do 99% of the work. So you need to have 5 photos on your profile. Okay, ladies, take notes from Anastasia. 1 picture is close up, a selfie smiling. 1 is full height, showing your body, the curves. 1 in a cocktail dress. 4th one with your favorite activity. And you have those pictures in your profile, so you can actually show them. You have 1 in your cocktail dress, showing your curves. And you said that actually that photo in particular gets the most amount of messages or likes on that photo. 1 with your favorite activity, and you have that on your profile where I think you're painting something. And I always recommend, show something where you're doing something creative. And last one, just having fun in a relaxed setting. All pictures have to be close, showing your body. You need to be in all of them, right? And this is what I'm learning as well, as I'm up-leveling my skills that photos do. You said 99, I'd say maybe 95% of the work for sure. Or maybe even 99, because that is the first thing that a man sees. Men are extremely visual. And so when he sees your photo, it probably takes about 2 to 3 seconds to make a judgment and then move on or stay, right? So anything else you want to add? And the photos do most of the work, right? And so as a woman, you need to know how to show your attributes, right? How to market yourself, and how to have most of the photos that I've seen, because we did that activity, Anastasia, in our group. And that's actually going to be, I want to do that permanently going forward when I, work on that part of the program. But most of the photos that I saw women posting, and maybe you can share that as well. What did you see in them? What do you think women are not doing right in the photos that we've seen that women have shared?
So I see a lot of women, first of all, they don't know how beautiful they are. They have no idea. They're so focused on the flaws or this image in their head that they compare themselves to, which I'm very familiar with. I've done that myself before. They have no idea. They don't know how to market themselves. they don't show the juiciness of living, you know. Basically, it comes down to not being able to market yourself, which is fine. Not everybody knows how to do that. All you have to do is just maybe ask somebody who does know how to do it, like a stylist or whoever. You know, I offered my help in the program, so I'm more than willing. I actually worked with one of the girls. We had a FaceTime, so we worked together with her.
Nice.
So I can't wait to see what her photo shoot will look like. I know it's going to be amazing because she's a beauty. So I kind of helped her tell her what her best features are and what she needs to highlight and how she needs to present herself. So I think that's the biggest missing part is the marketing, really. So, but it's not because the women are not beautiful. Women are stunning. And at this program, I was like, whoa, like, is this the model convention or something? Like, I mean, oh. So, but they have no idea. That's like the biggest wow, like the most confusing part. Have you seen yourself in the mirror? Have you seen it? Like, what? You know?
Yeah, and that's why obviously the inner work is the most important. What I saw is women just taking, I mean, how do you put up a dating profile? Oh, okay, I'm going to open a dating profile and I'm going to flick through my through my existing pictures. That's how women think, right? I flick through my existing pictures. Oh, I'm sitting here on a chair petting it, an animal. Or I'm really trying not to make any woman stand out from what we see, right? I'm really trying to do that. It's hard, but I'm trying. Right? Oh, I'm just here with a girlfriend, just standing, right? Or I'm here in nature, or what? Oh yeah, this is gonna be good, and that's it. And they post it out there. They write some things about in the profile, and that's it. And they just sit there and wait, or they start to communicate. That is not the right way to go about this, ladies. And I know Anastasia agrees with me. You have to be like when you're putting out your profile. It's not about, oh yeah, just choose 5 pictures that I already had. You have to, I mean, yes, there might be 1 or 2 in the existing ones. Maybe, Anastasia, you had a photo that you were creating, when you were painting, I think maybe that was already there. But the rule is if right now on your profile, you're not attracting the right men, number 1, you have to do the inner work, sign up for something like Claimed. Number 1, this is the most important. The second thing is that you got to change your profile. You got to change your pictures. You got to change your profile until you start to see the results that you want. This is kind of the winning combination here, right? So,
yes.
And you have to be very intentional about the photos and the profile. So you have to put the right pictures in place. Like you, Anastasia, great job. You took 500 photos in great lighting on a beach. Find the place, put on minimal makeup, have a drink, do your flow, do whatever you need to do, and then put those 5 different pictures, take them specifically to market yourself. This is how this needs to be. It's a strategy. It's not just like, oh yeah, whatever, which is most women do. That these are the pictures that I saw. I'm like, yeah, no, that's why you're not attracting. Well, we got to look at the work that you're doing on yourself. But I've seen 1 or 2 profiles, and I actually, I'll tell you a secret. Well, it's not a secret anymore because everybody's going to know. But actually, obviously this is all privacy and everything. But I showed some of the profiles to String, to my husband. And the best thing actually, what I would recommend, if you want feedback, ask other men, like friends or whatever, and ask them to be really honest with you about the photos. So I showed them to String, and I know women won't mind because they need the feedback. I showed a lot of the pictures to String, and he was just looking at the photos, and he was like, yeah, no, that's not a good photo. That's not a good photo. That's not a good photo. She needs to change this and this and this and that, right? But some of the photos, he was like, yeah, that's a high value woman. He said this, if I didn't have the confidence to take this woman out, I wouldn't message her because I know that this woman has a certain expectation and a standard. And when I looked at those photos, this woman had beautiful hair, right? Her hair was like shiny. I'm not saying your hair has to be shining or whatever, but it has to show that you're taking care of yourself, that you are in certain locations or what. I mean, the beach is great. Like Anastasia, you're wearing a beautiful dress. I would look at your photos and say, yeah, that woman knows herself, and I can't take that woman to, I don't know, like a shitty little cafe, right? Like I need to be at a certain level to take care of that woman. That's what he told me. And I was like, oh yeah, now I see it, right? So, and every single woman can do that, right? I mean, and obviously you don't do it for the photos, because what's the point of doing your hair and doing your photo shoot on the dating profile and then you come to a date and you're like, not that, right? So there has to be a combination where you as a woman, that's what I teach in the program, right? Like, don't leave the bathroom until you love what you see in the mirror. And so if somebody sees you outside randomly or whatever, this is all part of you and being a woman. Yeah. Anything to add to that before we move to our last point about introduction?
That's why you attract high quality men, because you don't need to say you're high value. You just need to show it and capture it in the photo. You don't need to yell from the rooftops or put it in the profile, please don't offer me, blah, 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 blah. So women put in the, like in their description, don't do this, don't do that, don't do. No, it's who you are, you present yourself, and it speaks for you. That's why I said pictures do 99% of work, because it shows, your value. It shows, where you dress, where you are, like you said, automatically men know. And if it's authentic, high value masculine men pick up like that. And actually, the comments that I get on my profile are exactly that. You're very elegant, you're very feminine, you're very, I think elegant is if I would run it like a statistics report, probably elegant would be number one comment that I get from my pictures, which is like, oh, yeah, exactly. Thank you. So,
yeah, love it. Love it. All right. So let's talk about the profile. And you mentioned don't do this, don't do that. I'm like, I roll my eye. Well, I shouldn't. But, as a woman, not as a coach, I roll my eyes when I see these profiles like, do not do this. Or what are some examples? I'm trying to be very conscious, of course, of a woman, because women don't have no idea. Like, what am I going to write? Okay, I'm going to write, please don't ask me to pay for your first date or whatever. Like, don't lie.
Yeah.
Or like, I love a man in integrity. And if he's not that, and I look at that and I'm like, yeah, no, don't do that. He does, like, immediately, imagine you meet someone for the first time and they tell you, hi, my name is Anna. I would like for you to not lie to me. Like, what kind of an impression this is going to create? You're already starting with the negative. So my suggestion, and I know that Anastasia, you agree, is to have your profile, like your profile is so simple, like deceptively simple, right? So when I look at your profile, I say, green flags I look for, sense of humor. To me, relaxation is beach. And then you have like a painting photo here. And then you say, I go crazy for seafood, right? So when a man looks at your profile, not only it is elegant and attractive, but it's also easy. And not easy in a way like you're an easy woman, but it's a woman who's approachable. Like, oh, this one is quite fun. She likes seafood. She likes sense of humor. She likes the beach. I can do that. She looks amazing, like elegant. Bam, So how can you make it easy for the men not to sit there and like decipher around your cryptic messages about your, like how you've been hurt in the past or I don't know, whatever. So what you say in this point, and this is the last one, is, let me just read that and then you can comment. You say your intro on your profile should be short, light, funny, and cute, which is what we see on your profile. For example, if you can cook, please say something about that. Men love to eat. I'm personally taking cooking classes, so I can genuinely say that I cook. Most men and women are all looking for the same thing, so you need to specify. And I know that you've done comments like when a woman says something very general, say something very specific, like when you say, I love to read fiction, write the book, write your favorite fiction book or whatever, make it very specific. And then you say, no negativity, nothing heavy should ever be on your profile, which is what we talked about. Anything else you want to add to the profile part?
So yes, two things. Basically, what you want to do with your online dating profile is drop the handkerchief, right? So you want to open the door. It's up to the man to walk into it if they want to, but you want to open the door. So when you say things like, don't lie, don't split the bill, don't, all it tells me and the man is you've been hurt before. You've been treated like this before. You don't want to, repeat the same story. Well, don't bring it up then. Leave it in the past. It's the past. It's done. And I get it. I have my own. You want to bring new energy, right? You want to bring something light and funny. And one of the most attractive qualities in a woman is positivity. Being positive is so attractive to men. I mean, honestly to everybody. You want a positive man as well. You don't want a negative man, right? There's a lot of actually men too. They put in their profiles, don't do this, don't do that, and I delete them immediately because no. Basically, you want to say something, especially like if you're funny. I'm very funny, so I always say something, smart or something. I don't know, but women, please, if you can cook, oh my God, please put that you can cook like, I don't know, chicken and mushrooms. I don't know, like put some delicious, so when they read your profile, their mouth will be watering. Okay, it will 99% done. You will be asked on dates like insane. So please, guys, like, please just trust me on this one. And I love to eat, so I would totally click on that if it was a guy. I actually click on all the men who say I can cook. I'm like, click, 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 click. So you want to put something flirty if you can, something very light. And just like I said, try to open the door and see if, who wants to walk in it. So, and I offer my help in the group chat. And if somebody wants like a specific, maybe we can come up with something. But it has to be genuine. It has to come from you,
Yeah.
Because like we said before, men are extremely sensitive to the truth. And you want to stay truthful always.
Yeah. I love that what you said about, dropping the handkerchief kind of. And this is one of the things that I would suggest as well. Again, you have to be open to approach, and you have to leave the door open and make it easy for the men to message you. Like, think about it as, I always give this analogy. It's the same thing on a dating app. I always give this analogy. When a man walks into a bar and like gets a drink, just sits there, right? Or whatever. Let's say 10 different women sit at a bar, right? And who is he going to approach? Like, he's going to approach a woman who is the most approachable out of 10. Now, what makes a woman the most approachable? It's the woman who's not in her phone and her headphones, like in her own world, and with her whole body, she's saying, not available to approach. Shoulders are protracted. She's sitting there doing something. Her legs are crossed. She's all of her body. I mean, she might have written on her forehead, not open to approach. Now, imagine a woman who is light and relaxed in her body. She's having a drink. Her head is high. She's looking around, or, looking at a spot. Her legs can be crossed, but, they could be to the side. And so when he's scanning because men always scan the environment for women. Like, it's just how they're wired, evolutionary, right? Even my husband. And it's like, head turns before he can think about it. And so that man is going to approach the woman who is the most approachable. So if you're a single woman looking to be approached, become approachable at the bar, but also in your dating profile. So that's why specificity like this, what Anastasia, you suggest, say that you can cook, but also tell him what you can cook really well, so that he can message you and say, hey, I'd love to taste the chicken one day, right? Or you write, my favorite novel is this and this and that. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. He can message you and say, I've read that. Or, hey, I never read that. I heard about it. So what is something that you can write that is specific and that can invite the man in? It has the profile with your pictures and the intros has to be inviting.
Yeah. It has to be something specific to you. For example, if there's something that you really enjoy, for example, I think I have on my profile something like, I love life and I love the beach or something. I can't remember what I said. But that's the thing about me. Beach is my temple. Beach is my religion, and ocean is just everything. So I have to put the word beach somewhere because it's just who I am. It's a part of me. So whatever is part of you, maybe you're a big golfer. I have no idea. Maybe you're a dancer. Oh my God, if you're a dancer, put that if you can dance, oh my God. It's like cooking. It's immediate, like it's a hit. So, I love to salsa, or I'm a professional, I don't know, something like that. Or a gymnast. I mean, you can imagine. Oh, mama. So it has to be like you. They have to get a taste of you a little bit. In that way, the connection will be way more real. And you probably won't have to go on a 500 dates, hopefully, the connection will happen sooner,
Yeah.
So it definitely has to be specific to you. That's why only you can come up with it. But just brainstorm, just kind of see what you like. And it's also a tool to explore yourself, right? What do you like? Who are you? What kind of woman are you? What kind of flavor are you? What kind of diamond are you? Maybe you're an emerald, we don't know. So you just have to give a little taste. Don't reveal the whole thing don't write the whole story about your biography. No.
Just a tease.
Just a little taste.
Just a
tease.
A
little, a tease. Just a little tease. And that's it.
Thanks so much for sharing your tips, Anastasia. And, going back to what you
You're
said.
welcome.
What you said and why we're here is actually the most important work. Like, all of this stuff is amazing, but it's like the cherry on top, right? So you can do that, but that is a cherry on top. The most important thing, and how do you actually fall in love with yourself? How do you actually, cut through the rough or the stones and find what kind of stone are you, right? Is by doing internal work. And so the last question that I wanted to ask you, as we talked about, Anastasia, the most important work is the foundation, which is all about, like, how do you find that diamond in the rough? How do you fall in love with yourself? And all of that is by doing the internal work. And so for you, this has been going through the CLAIM program. And so last question that I want to ask you is, for all the women listening who also perhaps like you, intuitively know that, they see that women around them are not in their feminine, they're not happy, and that themselves are not fulfilled in their life, and they're looking for that missing piece of the ingredient. And of course, all this is spilling into their dating life. The men that are attracting are not the right men. So why would you recommend signing up for a discovery call if they have not yet? Well, if they have not watched my training, my main signature training, which I think you went through, like my webinar, I'd recommend going to claim.com/training. And then for those of you who have watched and been following my work, and now you're at this interview and being hopefully more pulled into this to do the work, Anastasia, what would you say to these women why would you recommend, signing up for a discovery call to actually see whether this is really for them? And then ultimately, perhaps even signing up for CLAIM.
I would say trust your body. Your body, your intuition is your biggest gift that you have in your life. It will always guide you towards where you need to go. Don't be afraid to really want what you want. Don't try to want something that is possible for you. Go after something that is, seems so unreal for you, but you really, really want it, Like, deep down, every woman, even a feminist, deep down, every woman wants a highly, highly masculine, conscious man. Every woman. I don't care how you can argue this. I don't care. Deep down, that's what you want. So do not be afraid of what you really want. And don't lie to yourself. No, I don't really want this. He's fine. The guy I'm dating, or he's fine. No, he's not. And you know that. Deep down in your belly, you know. So for once in your life, go after that Mercedes, like we talked about. Like, go after it, because the reward, it will be so much greater than you thought. And it will surprise you in so many ways, because you have no idea what's on the other side. You have no idea. The doors that are opening up for me right now in terms of career, and we talked about this with you, Anna, career and personal life are something that I would never imagined, ever. I have a new taste for life. The femininity was the missing ingredient, and I finally have an idea what it is. I would like to go deeper and deeper into it. And that has actually become my life purpose. I was looking always for a purpose, and I know what my purpose is right now. It's exploring the femininity, because it's endless well of possibilities. It's just endless. So it will take this lifetime, probably many more, to explore it. But it's the most wonderful journey I've been on. So that's what I would say.
Beautiful. So for all the women, go to claim.com/apply to apply for your free discovery call. And with me and Anastasia, we'll see you there on the inside. Anastasia can comment on your profile pictures as well. All right. Thanks so much, Anastasia. This was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
This was a pleasure, and I'll see you on the inside.
Yes.